Video Diary, April the 18th, 2024, by Hiroshi Hayashi, Hammamet City, Japan. ビデオ日誌2024年4月18日、林博です。こんばんは。カインですよね。英語ではケインです。そこまでは分かっています。がしかし、古代ヘブライ語ではどのようにその神を呼んでいたかということなんですね。それであちこち文献を漁ってみたって言いますかね、見たらですね、カインのスペリングが分かりました。古代英語では Ancient Biblical Hebrew と書いてあるんですけどもね、現代のヘブライ語とは違うようですけども、要するに古代聖書のヘブライ語という意味です。はい。それが見つかったわけですね。それを見よう見まねで手書きで書き写したのがですね、これから皆さんにご覧いただく、つまりヘブライ語ということになるわけですよね。英語ではヒーブルーって言うんですけどもね、ヘブライ語ということになります。で、この字を何とかして文字をですね、読みたくて、今日午後ですね、1時から4時頃までですね、もうとにかく悪戦苦闘しました。で、やっと読み方が分かりました。ということなんですね。で、今日のビデオダイアリーはその報告版ということになります。まず最初にですね、皆さんにご覧いただきたいのはですね、私がそのカインを意味する古代聖書のヘブライ語ということになります。これがその文字なんですよね。で、ヘブライ語は右から左へと読んでいきます。ですから、これをですね、ローマ字風に読めばですね、多分ですよ、カインとなるわけですよね。あるいは K E N。ゼカレシッチンはですね、カイン、K-A-I-N と書いてますけどもね。英語では C-A-I-N ですね。これが、3つの文字ですよね。この文字と、そして次の3つ目の文字ということになります。で、これがどうやらカインという意味になるということは分かったわけです。が、しかし問題はそこからなんですよね。で、先ほどまとめてみた動画をですね、ここに皆さんに紹介しますので、まずそれをご覧になってください。
Say these letters together, working from right to left. There's no need to memorize anything at this point. Just follow along and repeat after me as we work through the 23 consonants of the Hebrew alphabet. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wow, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mim, Nun, Samik, Ayin, Pei, Tzadeh, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. These are the 23 letters or consonants of the Hebrew alphabet. Yod sounds like the Y in yes. 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 Noon sounds like the N in now. 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 Kof sounds like the K in king. 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 The yod is the smallest of the Hebrew letters, and so far you'll observe that we have taken up 2 spaces or 2 lines to write each of our letters. The yod is only going to take up the top half of that space. The yod will be written simply as a curved angle, yod. Again down here, yod and yod. It might be helpful to consider it with the consonant chet that we just practiced. There's the chet, it takes up 2 spaces, but the yod only takes up 1. That gives you a basic spatial orientation to the size of that particular consonant. The yod is the smallest of the letters. The noon looks very much like a backwards L. I normally begin with a small angled line, followed by a vertical line down to the base, and then the base line. Angled line, straight line, base line. Now, like the wow, some people may prefer not to do the angled line at the top, and that's fine. You can make it look simply like a backwards L. Straight down and over. Straight down and over. Either form is fine. The top one is a little fancier. The bottom one is perhaps a little simpler and quicker to draw. Kof. Kof is a consonant that goes slightly below the line when you draw it, and it looks like a P. So we're going to come vertically down and go a little bit below the line, and then finish out the symbol that makes it look like a P. All the way down a little below the line, and then finish it out with a symbol that makes it look like a P. All the way down, curved line, all the way down, curved line. This is the kof. It's similar to the P in English, but not exactly like that, and it goes below the line. That's the kof.
で、読み方ということになりますけども、キングの K、イエスの Y ですよね。それから、ニュースのニューですね。N です。ですから、これで、クイエン、クエンと読むようですね。カインをですね、古代ヘブライ人たちはね、では、どのように読んでいたかということが、これで分かったわけです。クイン、クイン、クイン、クイン、クイン。なんとなくケインに似ているわけですね。クイン、ケイン、あるいはカイン。あはないですからね、母音の。クインが正しい。今のところですよ。最も一番言語に近い発音ということになります。ということが分かりました。ということで、このところ毎日のようにヘブライ語の勉強をしています。よろしかったら皆さんもご一緒にいかがでしょうか。
Let's say these letters together, working from right to left. There's no need to memorize anything at this point. Just follow along and repeat after me as we work through the 23 consonants of the Hebrew alphabet. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wow, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samik, Ayin, Pei, Tzadeh, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. These are the 23 letters or consonants of the Hebrew alphabet. There are no vowels in this alphabet. We'll learn the vowel symbols in Chapter 2. Let's take a look at a chart that contains important information about the Hebrew alphabet. In the chart on your screen, you're going to see the Hebrew letter, the name of that letter spelled in English, and the basic pronunciation value. What's important to understand is that the name of the letter will help you with the pronunciation. So keep that in mind as we're working through these names. Let's begin with Aleph. It's the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it is silent in its pronunciation. Next is Beit, and it sounds like the B as in boy. Gimel sounds like the G in God. Dalet sounds like the D in day. Hey sounds like the H in hay. Wow sounds like the W in way. Zion sounds like the Z in the proper noun Zion. Chet sounds like the CH in the German word Bach, pronounced back in the throat with the guttural sound. Tet is one of the T sounds in Hebrew, and it sounds like the T in toy. Yod sounds like the Y in yes. Kaf is pronounced like the K in king, and Lamed is pronounced like the L in lion. You'll notice with most of these forms, the letter that begins the spelling of the name in English is the sound of that letter. Let's continue to see how that works. In the right-hand column, Mem sounds like the M in mother. Noon sounds like the N in now. Samik is one of the S sounds in Hebrew, and it sounds like the S in sin. Ayin, like Aleph, is silent, and so we'll pronounce that with the vowel that appears with it, but we won't learn the vowels until chapter 2. Pei sounds like the P in pastor. Tzadeh sounds like the TS in boots. Kof sounds like the K in king. The Kof and the Kaf sound alike. Resh sounds like the R in run. Sin is another of the S sounds in Hebrew, and it sounds like the S in sin, just like Samik. Shin is another S sound. It looks exactly like the sin above, but it has a dot to the right to distinguish the sin from the shin. The shin with the dot on the right sounds like the SH in ship. And finally the tau, one of the T sounds in Hebrew, it sounds like the T as in toy. Those are the 23 letters or consonants of the Hebrew alphabet. You'll need to memorize the form, the name, and the pronunciation for each letter. The first thing to understand is that when you write these letters, they're not going to look exactly like the printed letter, right? The printed letters in a modern English book don't look like your handwritten script. And from person to person, a handwritten script may be slightly different. I'm going to give you a good and basic starting point, and you may end up modifying a little bit to suit your own needs, or your instructor may have different suggestions for how to form different words. But this is at least one basic system that will allow you to get started and be consistent as you work on memorizing the Hebrew alphabet. We'll begin with Aleph and writing a backslash followed by two curved lines, a curved line on the top and a curved line on the bottom. Once again, backslash, curved line on the top, curved line on the bottom. Now in the second two examples, I'll provide you with another option for writing the letter. Backslash, and then one continuous curved line. Some people prefer to do it that way. Backslash, one continuous curved line. They both produce the same basic form. Just pick one and be consistent with it. Next is bait. We're going to have a rounded angle and a base. A rounded angle and a base. Two more times. A rounded angle with a base and a rounded angle with a base. Because this is a Bagad Kafad consonant, we'll put a nice big doggish forte in the letter to remind you of that. Now we come to Gimel, which is a wavy backslash with a leg to support it. A wavy backslash with a leg to support it. Two more times. Watch with the wavy backslash and the leg to support it. The wavy backslash and the leg to support it. This is our second Bagad Kafad consonant, so we must put a doggish lene in there to remind you of it. The Dalet. The Dalet is written as a right angle with a bit of a tail. We begin with a horizontal line and then a vertical line. A horizontal line, then a vertical line. Notice that in each instance there's a little bit of an overhang on our line. This is a very important feature of the Dalet, and it will help distinguish the Dalet from other forms that we'll see. Two more examples. The horizontal line, and the vertical line, the horizontal line, and the vertical line. And in each case, there's that overhang. The dalet is our third Bagad Kafad consonant, and so we're going to put a dogish lane in that form. Hey. Hey is a guttural consonant. The guttural hey is written as a right angle with another vertical line. A right angle and another vertical line. Notice that I've left space in each form to mimic the space in the printed form. Two more examples. Right angle, vertical line. Right angle, vertical line. That's the hey. Now we come to the wow, or what in modern pronunciation is the vav. We're going to begin with a slight angle and then straight down. A slight angle and straight down. That angle mimics the angle that you see in the printed form. But some people prefer to simply write this particular consonant as a straight line, and that's fine too. Straight line, straight line. You can do either one, just pick one and be consistent. We now come to Zayin, a Z sound in Hebrew, and the Zayin consists of a long vertical line with a little hat that's tilted. A long vertical line with a hat that's tilted. Two more examples. Watch. A long vertical line and the tilted hat. A long vertical line and the tilted hat. That's the Zayin. Chet. The chet can be written in a number of different ways. We'll begin the first two examples with a right angle, followed by a vertical line, a right angle, followed by a vertical line. Notice that there is no space between the right angle and the vertical line to distinguish it from the hey. This also mimics the fact that it's closed here. Now, in addition to the right angle with vertical line, we can write this with one continuous stroke where we write up and over and down. Up and over and down. It looks like a rectangle without a base. Either of those systems are fine. Just pick one and be consistent. We now come to the tet, one of the T sounds in Hebrew, and it's written almost as a circle with a backslash at the top there. Again, almost as a circle, and then bring that in. That final line mimics the fact that the consonant dips back into the circle in its writing. Two more examples. We'll begin our circle, and before we close it, back into the line. Begin our circle, before we close it, back in. That's the tet. The yod is the smallest of the Hebrew letters, and so far you'll observe that we have taken up two spaces or two lines to write each of our letters. The yod is only going to take up the top half of that space. The yod will be written simply as a curved angle, yod. Again down here, yod and yod. It might be helpful to consider it with the consonant chet that we just practiced. There's the chet, it takes up two spaces, but the yod only takes up one. That gives you a basic spatial orientation to the size of that particular consonant. The yod is the smallest of the letters. Kaf. Kaf is written like a backwards C. Very easy. Kaf. A backwards C. Two more. Backwards C and backwards C. It's our fourth Bagad Kafad consonant, so we're going to put a dogish lane in the kaf. Lamed. Lamed is the largest of the Hebrew letters. In fact, in Hebrew manuscripts, you can always see the lameds on a page because they go way above the line. So if we normally write in two spaces, the lamed is going to start above the normal spot and then come down and look like a lightning bolt. So we begin one space up, lightning bolt, and down. One space up, lightning bolt, and down. And if you think that's an over-exaggeration, look up a Hebrew manuscript online, and you'll see that this is the truth with regard to the size of the lamed. Its top stroke is very large. That's the lamed, the lightning bolt lamed. Next we come to the mem, the M sound in Hebrew. There are a number of different ways to describe how this particular character is written. The first way will be like a giant wave with a surfer. Or it can be a giant mountain with a mountain climber. Or it can be a house with a chimney. Either way, memorize the form and be consistent. The noon looks very much like a backwards L. I normally begin with a small angled line, followed by a vertical line down to the base, and then the base line. Angled line, straight line, base line. Now, like the wow, some people may prefer not to do the angled line at the top, and that's fine. You can make it look simply like a backwards L. Straight down and over. Straight down and over. Either form is fine. The top one is a little fancier. The bottom one is perhaps a little simpler and quicker to draw. The psalmic. The psalmic looks like a backwards sigma. What it is, it's a big circle with a little hat. A big circle with a little hat. Two more examples. Big circle, give it the hat, and big circle, and give it the hat. The psalmic looks like a backwards sigma if you've had Greek. Ion. The ion is a guttural consonant, and it looks very much like the English letter Y. We're going to begin at the top here and angle down, and then run that base line, and then connect it like a Y. All the way down to the base, run it along the base, connect it to look like a Y. Two more examples, all the way to the base, connect it. All the way to the base, and connect it. That's the ayin, or one of the guttural consonants in Hebrew. Next it's pei, and because it's a bagad kafad consonant, let's put a doggish lane in it, just to remember that. And let's draw it. We're going to draw a big backwards C, and then N at the top. A big backwards C, and then N at the top. This stroke that brings it in at the top mimics this stroke here that brings the line inside the consonant. A backwards C and N. Some people prefer to start at the top and come out and then over and around. Either way is fine. Just pick the system that works best for you and be consistent and as neat as possible. Tzade. Tzade is formed by making a backslash to the base, running the line in the opposite direction on the base, and then connecting it midway down with an angled line. Backslash, run it down the base, connect it with the arm. Backslash, run it along the base, connect it with the arm. One more, backslash, run it along the base, connect the arm. That's the tzade, the TS sound in Hebrew. Kof. Kof is a consonant that goes slightly below the line when you draw it, and it looks like a P. So we're going to come vertically down and go a little bit below the line, and then finish out the symbol that makes it look like a P. All the way down a little below the line, and then finish it out with a symbol that makes it look like a P. All the way down, curved line, all the way down, curved line. This is the kof. It's similar to the P in English, but not exactly like that, and it goes below the line. That's the kof. The resh is another one of the gutturals, and it's easy to draw. It's written as a rounded angle from the top, rounded and down. From the top, rounded and down. It's important to render the resh with the angled line because it will help distinguish it from the dalet, which has the sharp line with the overhang. One more time, angled line, resh. Be careful to distinguish between the resh and the dalet. Sin. The sin is written as a wide U with an angled line inside that U and a dot over the left arm. A wide U, an angled line within that U, and a dot over the left arm. Two more. Wide U, angled line, dot, wide U, angled line, dot. That's the sin. The shin is made in the exact same way, wide U, angled line, but the dot's over the right. Wide U, angled line, dot over the right. Let's look below at the sin again. It's a wide U, an angled line, but the dot's over to the left. You can see the difference between the sin and the shin because with the shin, the dots are on the right side of the consonant, but with the sin, the dot is on the left side of the consonant. That's the Hebrew letter shin. Finally, there is tau. And tau can be written in a number of different ways, and I'll give you two of them. You can begin with a right angle, and then come back and do a vertical line with a foot. A right angle, and then a vertical line with a foot. Or you can do it in one continuous stroke. Up, down, over, up. Up, down, over, up. Doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as you're consistent in your rendering of the tau. And that will help you to distinguish between the he, the chet, and the tau, because they all look like rectangles without a base. But you'll recall that the he has space here, and the chet does not have the foot. In fact, let me erase those two forms at the bottom and write the he and the chet in context just so you can see the differences. The he is the right angle with a vertical line and space between the right angle and the vertical line. The chet, however, is the same right angle with a vertical line but no space. Again, notice that the space here identifies the he, and the fact that there's no foot here identifies the chet or distinguishes it from the tau. The tau is the last of the 6 Begad Kafat letters, so once again we're going to add the Dagesh Lene to the tau to remind us that it's a Begad Kafat letter. We've now finished drawing the 23 letters of the Hebrew alphabet.